This has been quite a long journey to get here for Finmo. And now with Lendesk, we have kind of the way that we frame it is, Lendesk spent quite a bit of time working on really solid direct connections to lenders. And as you guys maybe are aware in this industry, that's hard to do. It's very hard to have a system that isn't, pushing to expert and then onto a lender. So Lendesk has been working for quite some time on that side of things. And meanwhile, Finmo was working on more of the broker and borrower experience. And so this is really the culmination of those two products coming together. So on this call today, obviously, Greg, not on the call right now. Hopefully will be rejoining us. Myself, the Chief Product Officer here at Lendesk. And we brought on Joe Tompkins for any of the tough questions that are going to pop into the Q&A. He's going to be your answer guy on that front. So like I said, just a quick note on the journey. We started in 2017, Finmo did. In 2019, we pushed the first deal to Filogix Expert, and brokers use Filogix Expert then to push that on. In 2020, Lendesk acquired Finmo. And in 2020, there was quite substantial growth. We talk about being the fastest growing player in the industry. We did 35,000 mortgage transactions in 2020. And there are over 550 teams that are using Finmo currently. As a company, Lendesk on the submission front tackled about $4 billion in submissions in February. So there's quite a lot of growth. There's a lot of support. And a lot of that, we're very grateful for the feedback and the support that all of the brokers who really love and enjoy the Finmo tool, we're appreciative of everything you're doing. So what's 2021? Well, a huge component of this has been this integration and the direct submission to lender. But it's not just that. It is beyond the direct submission. It's the underwriting. It's prepping a deal. It's pulling credit. And so what we're actually going to show you today's demo is all of the steps to getting to that direct submission. And we even have a few treats for after that submission to a lender. We're going to talk about our automated compliance tool that's going to save you a lot of time. We're going to talk about our document generation that we believe is better than any other document generation in the industry, and how easy it is to then get those documents signed. And then lastly, for this webinar, we're going to touch on a new feature that was just released that is tax document retrieval, CRA tax document retrieval. So where is this all going? This is the important thing that I want everyone here to understand, is that we are going to be opening up these features that I'm showing today to an exclusive group of people. You will have the opportunity, or exclusive group of brokers and teams on Finmo. You will have the opportunity at the end of this webinar. We're going to send you a link through email. We might even just post it in the chat. But we're gonna allow you to actually register your team for this early beta access, and you're gonna get to use all of the features that I'm showing today. And there's a special offer on the tax document retrieval that we'll let you know about for being one of those beta teams. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo here. And I already showed you the link, so there you go. If you're quick, you could already go ahead and sign up. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. The reason that we did this through a recording as opposed to doing a live demo, it's not because some people think that that's a cop out. Here's the reason. There are a lot of very involved parts of this demo. There's going to be demo of Equifax, which pulling credit, we have to have the right test credentials. We're also going to be showing you MPP. So there's different test demos and test accounts. And instead of watching me flip between a million Finmo teams and showing you all of these features, we just recorded a straightforward video. It's gonna be a lot faster, but these are live today, and you are gonna get access if you're one of those beta teams. Okay, so let's jump in. So as many of you are familiar, in Finmo, you're gonna start with your deal table. This is the way you're receiving applications. You can do that through sending out a link. You can use referral links that your realtors send out. You're going to get your application, your documents coming in from the borrower. You also can create the new deal as a broker yourself. I'm going to jump into one of these deals, jump into the application here, pop down to the liabilities. As we all know, that's one of the first things that a broker may do to kind of validate a deal, to understand, what's the GDS TDS going to look like here? What are the liabilities? Is this deal even going to work? We do have now the ability to add consent manually. So if the borrower does not go through the application, you're able to add that yourself. And you'll see there in one click, we pulled the credit. It's very, very simple. It scrapes the liabilities in an instant, and you're able to look at those, edit those, and it'll tell you whether or not it's been scraped from the bureau or added manually. You can click to view the bureau in this pop over here. Super easy to use. And you'll see up in this corner, now we have calculated instantly those TDS. We've changed to TDS accordingly, and it's very quick and easy to use. We believe that GDS TDS, we believe it's been improved in Finmo with the way that we've thought about this. The settings that you'll see here as a button that I'm going to click into is the place where you can actually go to manipulate everything you need that changes the GDS TDS. So, and this is really important. One of the things that we found a lot of new brokers and a lot of brokers who use Expert quite a lot is they're having to go to multiple fields, to actually figure out how to change that GDS TDS. We bring it all into one place where it's very fast and easy to actually start this process of underwriting the deal. So, one of the things you didn't see there that might come up in a question later is rental income. Yes, it's going to be in the settings. You can change the way that it's calculated there. It's super fast. It's really easy. We're happy to show that in a one-on-one demo later. So, okay, we have the application. We're getting it ready for this submission. We've pulled credit. It was really fast, really easy. We've verified the GDS TDS. Now it's time to actually use the Lender Spotlight integration and actually click to find available products. You'll notice here, we've pulled in the application data, so you don't have to. That automatically transfers over to Lender Spotlight. So you've just switched context here. And what do you want to do? So I'm verifying which products are going to work. But furthermore, I need to make the sale. I need to present this in a way to the borrower. As you know, Finmo was built around this borrower experience. So I'm actually digging into some of these products, and I'm actually prepping them for a compare feature that creates a PDF that's going to show the borrower the different opportunities, the different rates, the different policies, all side by side. And it's going to be and I'll show it to you what it looks like here. So I'll go ahead and add 2 more products. I'll add one on the First Nat side as well. And this is just taking seconds here. I mean, this is something that you can produce of high value for your client almost instantly. So for you and your team, you can compare those products here. You can jump down and actually expand the policies as well. So you can see the rental income, the differences on that, how that's calculated. And I'll go ahead and actually create the report for my client. Client's name is myself. We'll go ahead and throw a message in here. Here are your rates, and you're able to actually then decide what gets shown. So we're going to take out the TDS, GDS, and the rate hold, and we're actually going to add prepayment options, and let's throw in down payment as well, and we're going to create this report. So you can see in less than 2 minutes, I've actually created a really incredible compare of different options to present the borrower. You can email those and work through them on a screen share with your client. Okay, so just to recap really quickly, we've gone through application, we've done a little bit of working the deal, we've now shown our client these offers. All of this has taken only a few minutes. And now we're gonna get into the part where we're gonna submit this deal to a lender. Well, as many of you know, in traditionally an Expert or any other competitor you're using, there's a process called the validation. So you go into, in Finmo, the new submit screen. And I'm going to continue this submission that I started earlier. And you'll notice that there are 2 validations here on the application. One, the condition of financing, and the other one is the borrower's personal details that have not been entered. And I need to edit those on the application before submitting. You'll also notice that there's what we call a soft validation, and there's already been some feedback of a better way that we're going to help you with some smart validations. But you'll see here that you can actually go in quite quickly by clicking the edit button. It takes you directly to the part of the application that needs to be updated. So for this one, it was the goal. And many people in our early feedback said, hey, I'd love to be able to see this on the application screen itself. Sure, no problem. We think that's a great suggestion. So we actually added it to the navigation here. So you can see the checklist of the validations go away. And why this is pretty cool is there's no refreshing needed. You know, you aren't having to update a page like you have to do in some of our competitors. You aren't having to reload a screen. You'll see here that when I actually go into this condition and financing, or sorry, the financing condition, I'm going to add March 1st, 2021. Go ahead and save that. You'll notice that this validation has now been removed from that list. And I'm going to pop down now to the personal details. We need the relationship to Bobby. Save this, and the validation now shows that we're ready for submission. So we've validated the deal, and now we're jumping into our submit screen, which we believe is very intuitive and really quick. So if you actually leave this screen at any point, it automatically saves. So if there's work you're doing on it, it saves automatically without you having to do anything. We're going to jump down into the mortgage information and request details. This is kind of the final data that a broker would need to enter before submitting it to a lender. I've thrown in some values just for the sake of this demo. Throw in 2.44 to show you how this updates. And then I move down to my submission agents. I can add those at the team level. Go ahead and select the agent on the deal, save it, add any notes. Quick notes for the lender here. And then lastly, you're going to get to a new section that I thought was pretty, our product team came up with. I thought it was a great idea. As many of you know, there are KYC components for certain lenders. And so we actually just tell you who has touched and actually edited the application. So there's no guesswork involved. You're able to know with certainty that that deal will be accepted by a certain lender that does KYC because we're showing you how that works. So then we go ahead and submit this deal to the lender. And what you'll notice here is there is you saw a payload. That's for internal testing. That's only happening on our staging to help us test some of these submissions. That won't happen. What you will see as a broker is this submission section here. You'll see that the status has now changed. You'll see a record of the submission itself. You can view it, and you'll see a status that gets updated as the deal is responded to. Okay, so now let's take one more step forward. You've now received a response from the lender, and one of the biggest pain points that we uncovered was compliance. So you're ready to get, you're ready to get paid, the borrower's committed, everything's pretty much tidied up, and it's just something that lingers over a lot of brokers' head. Oh, and now I have to go do my compliance. So what we decided to do was automate it as much as possible for you. So as a team admin, you would go to a team admin on Finmo. They're going to jump into their settings, and what they're going to be able to do is set up a certain set of compliance checklist items that are going to persist on every single deal. So this admin has already said, we're going to need 2 main forms of identification. We're going to need a void check on almost every deal. And this team admin is now also going to add another sample just for this demo. Whatever compliance checklist item that you need, you can add that here. You can add a requirement description. So if there are things, common mistakes, this is great if you're a brokerage owner on this call. It's going to save you a ton of time and mistakes having these descriptions added here. And then you're going to actually, this is where I think it gets really cool. And if you don't understand, like I'm going to go in depth a little bit here. And if you don't understand it, that's okay. All you have to know is that things are automated, right? Like at the end of the day, all you need to understand is that when you accept deals in Finmo, or sorry, accept documents in Finmo, those will automatically update on the compliance checklist. So let's say that this compliance item was 12 months of bank statements. I can actually go into the document library for my team and match the compliance checklist item to a certain request that has already been sent out to many borrowers. And that's going to actually automatically update for every deal. I can also then go in and say, what's another form that I need generated for each deal? Go ahead and save it. And I can even edit the form and the defaults so that when I get into that deal, it saves me a ton of time. So here is an example of a template. You can customize as the team admin this template. And whatever you write in some of these boxes will show on the generation for each deal, and you can edit it at the deal level. So that means, and I know I'm going pretty quick here, but that means you pretty much can save, I think, loads of time of what you're having to change deal to deal with these defaults set up. It's an automated compliance. So I showed you how to set it up. And now I'm going to jump into the actual deal itself and show you what the agent, what the broker is going to do on each deal in particular. So we're going to jump into this deal that I've been demoing on. We're going to go into the compliance tab. You can see here that when I accept a deal, when I receive an accepted response from a lender, the mortgage details automatically pull into this. There's no double entry. These are the details that are going to get used in all the generated forms. You'll now notice there's the 3 items that I set up for every deal. They're showing right here. You have your 2 main forms of identification, you have your void check, and then you have this sample one that I added for this demo. You'll notice that it says no files yet. So again, stay with me. Again, this is I'm going pretty in depth here and I'm going pretty quick, but this is an automated compliance checklist. So there's no files that have been uploaded by the borrower yet for this particular request. When I jump over to the documents and I accept 12 months of bank statements for both borrowers, you'll see that the compliance was automatically updated. These statuses, this compliance checklist now shows 2 files were added. So you can theoretically set this up correctly one time for the required documents. And as you go through the deal, it's simply being updated for you. And at the end of the deal, you can download it if you have a process outside of Finmo for your compliance. But what I'm about to show you, and I think if you're a brokerage owner on a call, I think you'll see some of the power involved in this. I'll quickly, and here's a great example. You pull in now those documents on the compliance checklist. I'm going to jump down here to, one more thing here is you actually can add any additional documents. So if there's one odd document that you need to add on the specific deal, you can add that to your compliance checklist here. Save those changes. And now let's show you how the generation works. So I've already generated 3 documents on this deal. I'll go ahead and generate the amortization schedule. It's basically converting all of those numbers now to PDF, all of that data. And then you have the ability to actually download any individual generated document. But what I'm going to get to in a second is the next step of, okay, well, now I need these documents signed. And many of you who have seen this status of signature not requested, I think this is going to get pretty exciting. But let me go ahead and finish out this compliance page. So you've now gotten all of your required documents. You're now ready to submit this to your compliance manager. So we have 4 generated documents, and you click on this manage e-signing request, or you go to your e-signing tab in Finmo, and you're going to save a ton of time here. You notice that we actually now have any compliance document available on this checklist to just very quickly with one click add it to the package. So I'm going to check off these 4 items, add it to the e-signing package, and it's that fast. So let me just recap here because I'm going very quickly. What I've just shown you is you can set up compliance on default. It automatically updates. You can generate forms with one click. It's very easy to set up templates and update them. And then when you get to the point where you actually need to send it out for signing, you can do that also with one click. You just check the documents you need, you add it to the e-signing package, and it's all there. I know some of you will be asking about templates, like can we actually template some of these documents? To the extent that they're the same, we're working on it. It's something that we're investigating. Right now, it doesn't happen, but it's still very, very fast, and it's still saving you a lot of time. Okay, so what I just did was I added one signature on one of the compliance documents. You're gonna see that status in your e-signing tab, but really cool, we actually pull that status back into the compliance package as well. So you have the ability to see where you're at in your compliance at any part of the deal. What documents do I need to get signatures for? How close am I to being able to submit this to my compliance manager? Let's pretend that we actually have all of the documents signed. We actually have all of the required documents uploaded. So now it's time to actually shoot a note over to our compliance manager. There's two ways you can handle compliance in Finmo. The first is, let's say that you and your brokerage have a compliance process that's not on Finmo yet. You can actually download these documents, upload it to your Drive, upload it to your Box, upload it to your CRM, whatever your workflow is. However, if you're a brokerage owner, I don't have time to go into it on this demo, but there is a really cool role that we're introducing to Finmo called Compliance Manager. This allows you as an agent to submit this deal for compliance review. And then that will actually populate in a workflow when a compliance manager logs into Finmo. They then see the exact deals that have compliance ready, and they can go through and see each document. They can actually respond to the agent and let them know what's wrong with it for the agent to actually come back in and update the compliance tab. And then when everything's squared away, they can mark it ready for pay. So it's an incredibly powerful feature, and it shows you, I think, like the thought that's gone into a lot of it. And I think it's going to be a lot more efficient for you. Last part of the compliance is obviously the MPP. So I'm going to jump in and show you what this looks like. So you've already got the mortgage details pulled in. You're going to generate the MPP here. One click again. It's all so easy. And what you're met with is two options. So I think there's a lot of education going on in the market around this, but we have the ability for you to download your PDF from MPP to actually get signed, the form. Or they have a new beta program, and it's the new digital links. So you actually, in the Finmo way with the update borrower, you actually can click to email the digital links to a borrower. We pre-populate an email for you, and we actually send this link to the borrowers that you'd like us to. You could also send it via SMS if you wanted to. And I'm actually going to just highlight one of these links and show you what gets sent to the borrower. So we're trying to encourage everyone to test these links and actually move towards them. We believe it's a better borrower experience, which is what we're about. So borrower is going to receive this really educational, easy way to get their quote from Manulife. As a borrower is actually working through their Manulife MPP experience, you're going to receive updates on that on your deal tables. So you have really good visibility on what's happening. But let's say you want to remain the way that you've always done it. You can totally do that too. You upload your signed PDF there, and MPP processes it, and you'll still receive those statuses. Okay, last but not least, this is one that we're really excited. It's been a long time coming. We're going to show you our newest integration to pull tax documents. So you jump into any deal, you go to the documents. You'll notice when you click new request, you can either request documents for a borrower to upload, but now you see a second option, which says CRA tax document package. If you click that, we show you what we're actually going to go out and retrieve for you. We've partnered with Snap NOA to do this. It's an incredible partner in the industry. And you'll notice on the right side, we give you a little bit more. It's a 4 to 6 hour turnaround time. And the cost is $20 per package. However, for a limited time, and this is what this webinar is really about, for those teams that are wanting to try everything and get access to the things I've shown them today, and they're okay giving us feedback, they're okay working through a few minor issues with us and being a part of that beta program, you're actually going to receive these for free. And beyond that, we're still working on ways to actually work with you on getting the price down for some of these tax packages, provided you're using Finmo to submit directly to a lender. So I'll show you how this works. If you create this request two things happen. You'll notice that right here on the broker side, there's now a retrieving from CRA document request. The borrower is then sent an email. It explains exactly what's happening, our partnership with Snap and OA. They're given a link to sign, but also, before I click on that, if they were in their portal and they were in their document section, they're going to get really clear instructions on how that CRA tax document package is retrieved. They're going to see the description and they're going to get the instructions, and we point them to this email and the link. Jumping back over, I'll click the link and show you what this process looks like. So it's a really easy form from Snap and OA. Borrower clicks a few fields, fills those out. And then what happens is the tax document package is retrieved and it's emailed to the broker who made the request. That package can then be uploaded with a few clicks. I don't have a package on my computer to upload, but I'll just upload a file instead. It's the same process. You'll click that tax document package that was emailed and that will be updated. You can accept that and it's a done deal. All right, so that's the last part of the demo that we had prepared today. We understand it's a lot to go through. There will be extensive trainings that we're going to follow up with. There's going to be opportunities for you to ask questions here in a second, but I'm actually going to kick it back over to Greg, if he made it back on the call, to potentially fill in any gaps of things that I missed, or to actually go ahead and tell everyone who's in attendance the next steps.
Yeah, thanks, Carter. As Carter mentioned, lots to cover in that particular demo. We are going to have recording out to everybody so you can slow it down and take a look at it. Thank you, everybody, for all the questions that came in. I'm going to touch on a couple, but let's talk about where we go from here. Our intention is to properly release all of this direct connection stuff. And part of that process is making sure that we've really thoroughly thought through anything that we might have missed in our design, any potential bugs that may have cropped up, and also make sure that we're thoroughly keeping an eye and helping out our lenders who are important to us and our customers and how they're receiving information, and we're working with them. So with that said, what our preferred process and what we're doing is to roll on teams as we go. So we're at the reason for this particular webinar, we've had a team of beta testers for a few weeks now, working through and helping us with some of those things that are important that I talked about. But I also would say that we understand that it's also important to bring on more teams, more users, more lenders that we're testing. So how we're going to do that is we're asking you that you would apply for to become a beta tester. This is the link. This is obviously a short link, but it'll take you to where you need to go. Let's take a quick look at what you'll see when you come in there. Basically, this is just saying, look, I'd like to get in, as access. This isn't a race, or this isn't some kind of thing other than to say that, hey, man, I'd really like to try some of these things out. I'd also like to get free tax documents. So, and so you apply through here. The most important thing when you get to this question down here, let me tell you about how we view and how we would prioritize the teams that would come on for beta testing. First off, if you're the type of person who is an early adopter, I love to try new things. I love to be involved. I love to give feedback on, the future of where the industry is going. Then check the first one. Put me first in line. As part of that, your responsibility for us is that you would give us the feedback on suggestions, or certainly on bugs or anything that might be a problem. And in return, we give you first access to all these features, which will, I think, help you and speed up your process. But also, as Carter mentioned, we are also giving the beta testers for a limited time the free tax document pulls as well. So, but however, if you're someone that says, hey, I don't know if I want to necessarily, I'm busy, I've got a process that's really tight, I can't really afford the times of, hiccups or that, then still come on in and put this out, because the next one is for you. is that when we believe we're at a point where it's, we think we've solved a lot of the issues or the bugs, well, then we're going to come to you and we're going to add you in and we're going to roll teams on as we go. And so it's really important that you think through how you want to do that, and help us to bring innovation forward on, as we go in terms of the, where we're going in the industry. So with that said, let me cover a few of the questions. I mean, Joe, I know there's 31 questions now, and Joe's been feverishly typing away on those. So thank you, Joe. But I'll cover off a couple that I captured, and then, Joe and Carter, you guys can certainly bring in something up as well that you think. But the first one was really around pre-approvals, and, what are we doing on pre-approvals? So Carter, I know you're real intimate about this as well. And so funny story, I mean, as pre-approvals, this, whether it's a rate hold or not, we pushed out some, and that's on me, because I said, look, the interest rates are stable and right now, and we can come back around to this. Then what happens? Interest rates go crazy. So we get it, and we're on top of it. There is some changes to the validations that will allow you to work a deal without putting the property address and things. Anything you want to add to that necessarily, Carter?
No, I mean, it's definitely something that we're actually very close to launching. Sorry, there's some background noise. Support for that, and more importantly, Greg, I was looking at a question that I'd love for you to touch on right away, because I think it's incredibly important. But it was about lender access, and that's something that I didn't talk about. The question
Okay.
specifically was around, what if there's a lender that Velocity has that Finmo doesn't? And I think it's important that I didn't go into the breadth of how many lenders we have access to and how big that coverage is. So maybe you could speak to that.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. I mean, it's basically Lendesk Lender Network. We are, I think, currently at 242 lenders that we have in our lender network. Some of those lenders most of the lenders we have direct connection, and some of them we have, we rely on our partnership with Biologics. I will say this: the thing I think that is most important for people to understand on this is that the top 10 lenders in our space, talk about the prime space particularly, I believe that represents 70 to 80% of the total volume of the whole space. So that's really what we're talking about. And for us, we currently are directly connected to 8 out of the 10 of the top 10 lenders. And the other 2, we actually do have contracts and we do have the connection. We're waiting for them to complete on their side some technical work that they're doing to change some of their underwriting systems. So rest assured that you're in great hands with us in terms of your direct submission needs. So you certainly can
Yeah.
not worry about that.
Furthermore, I think that I think there's something that happened last year around a downtime with some of the Filogix connections. And I think what's important here is we do appreciate our Finastra partnership. We're close with them. I think it's also important to point out to have redundancy is actually a really good thing. So our ability to have our own direct connections to these lenders and then also have our partnership with Finastra allows us to use the most reliable or have redundancy if there was something to go down, ultimately meaning for you, you have a backup by using Lendesk.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you brought that up, Carter. The other thing that was a common question was around the design. And so one of the things that I always thought was really great in terms of having one scroll as opposed to having to change screens that we were used to in our days with Expert. But as the application and as the process gets more involved, as we grow, then the scroll was becoming something that people are, giving us lots of feedback on. So Carter, I think you can touch on, our plans with respect to the change in that design.
Yeah, that's a great point. I can't believe I skipped over that. So that design that you were seeing is on our staging server. It gives you more screen space. Frankly, everyone internally is obsessed and loves this new design. It's something that we think is easier for when we're actually working the deal. It's easier for us to use. I think you're going to love it when you get your hands on it. That's going to be coming very soon. But to Greg's point, we are always working on when we get the feedback in. We have the quick links now that are easily navigation wise on the left side. So you're able to actually scroll to the right part of the screen with one click without reloading the page. So it's very fast to move through a deal. But again, yeah, we're switching that navigation. We started to have, for those product designers who want to hear it, we had about 4 horizontal nav bars. We actually now have these two on the sides that are going to be a lot more effective for the broker.
Yeah, and also liabilities will be now in one screen like you're used to with in respect to expert as opposed to an individual one. So we do listen to our beta testers, frankly. So this is where there's a good example. Actually, I'm glad we mentioned it, because it's beta testers have power in order to help us evolve the product. So thank you on that. So I just was looking over the questions as well. To reiterate, somebody asked, do we have connections to unique lenders? I think a lot of our lenders are unique, but I would say that I think if you mean mortgage investment corps or private lenders, yeah, we have a significant amount of that 242 are those lenders. There's what we call the long tail of lenders, the lenders that get fewer deals on the A side, but certainly, I think almost every day we're adding new private lenders, but I think you'll be really fine being able to find those. And certainly any of the important lenders that you would use during your regular work, we will have all the connections to.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, I think let's just address it head on. I'll throw you this question. I think that the question I answered about Velocity has a certain lender that Finmo might not. I think that question was really probably getting at the HSBC, the partnership that they had. And so maybe you could speak to that, and I could share some of my opinions about where I think the industry's going. Yeah.
Sure, I'll definitely touch on that. I mean, obviously, some of our competitors, one of their strategies is to create these exclusive access to lenders, and we at Lendesk actually believe that that's not the right process for the industry. We think that lenders should be available to all, regardless of which platform that they happen to be using. And so we are working with some lenders as well, but we strive to make it such that, hey, we just want to give access to the people that use our programs. And so we're hoping that as that pressure continues, let's face it, the real challenge here is that as an industry, we've gone, for those of you who are as old as Greg Noack, have been involved in this industry for so long, that had no choice in our marketplace. And now we have choice. So let's not go back. Let's not revert back to where we're trying to, eliminate choice and bring that. So that's our feeling on it. As opposed to, whether or not we push into other platforms that would have access to those lenders, there's currently no plans for us to do that.
Right. Let me see was there any other questions that were answered, Joe or Greg, that you would like to highlight?
No, I think you guys have covered them off really well. The lenders one is always important. There's been some really great suggestions that people have been putting on, and I always encourage it when I meet with people online. And we just implore you to keep on giving us suggestions. We want to make this the best platform available to mortgage professionals. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We are going to get the recording out to you, and we're going to handle that. Get on the platform, and in the email, we're going to give you the link. It's also in the Q&A box for signing up for the next round of beta testers. Please come on in. We'd love to have you. We want more people testing, and the last thing I would leave it with is that I'm just never amazes me the group of people we have and the customer base that we have. The questions are amazing. The feedback's great. And we're just really, really grateful that we have you. So thank you very much for being a customer, and thank you for coming today.